Pick and Pay. Real value always.
So very good evening and thank you for joining us. You're watching the main news. My name is Joyce Mabika.
My name is Butler Nepure. We're with you for the next hour, bringing you the news. Susan Masona is with us on our sign language desk. Dora will be joining us from our Montrose studios. But let's start with tonight's top stories.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa says homegrown mitigation measures are critical in fighting climate change.
We take you through the third edition of the Zimbabwe Economic Development Conference taking place in Victoria Falls.
Mbudzi Interchange Project gathers pace as a 3-kilometer Glenora Loop from Boka opens to traffic.
Pomp and Funfair Mutapa Gala held at Nmangwa grounds in Masvingo. We'll be giving you highlights of what night.
In sport, Minister Kirsty Coventry is among 7 candidates contesting for International Olympic Committee presidency.
Looking forward to Lawrence joining us with our sport later on. But let's start with the top story tonight.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa has called for homegrown mitigation measures against climate change, which he noted as a major threat to Zimbabwe's economic development.
Now, the president addressed the official opening of the third edition of the Zimbabwe Economic Development Conference held in Victoria Falls this Monday.
Delegates attending the third edition of the Zimbabwe Economic Development Conference in Victoria Falls have been implored to look inward for economic solutions and leverage on locally available resources. Officiating at the Indaba, President Emmerson Mnangagwa noted that the impact of climate change requires adaptation and mitigation plans to protect economies and citizens.
Climate change impacts and natural disasters are exerting major risks that require adaptation and mitigation plans to protect economies and citizens from the climate chaos of today and tomorrow. It is therefore our collective responsibility to promote homegrown solutions for mitigation and adaptation in order to foster consensus and inclusivity.
President Mnangagwa also spoke of the frequency and severity of climate change, which is a threat to economic growth and agricultural productivity, calling for sustainable solutions to build resilience.
Realizing the impact of climate change on food security, the Second Republic initiated various measures to upscale the potential of agriculture to propel economic growth. The promotion of rural industries based on the comparative advantages of each area remain a priority. Focus is on leveraging on our rich heritage, innovation, science, and technology to revitalize rural areas and create new industries that increase the incomes of our rural communities. Further, as a country, we have committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 40% per capita by 2030. And this will have a genuine impact on the fight against climate change by achieving nationally determined contributions much quicker.
The president also called on captains of industry to invest in infrastructure which facilitates value addition for minerals and help transform Zimbabwe into a hub of sustainable, cutting-edge technologies.
To date, the Second Republic is implementing proactive fiscal policies and prudent monetary policies that guide financial institutions to support technological innovation and development of the manufacturing sector. The Venture Capital Fund has been reconfigured and capacitated to support the development of innovative ideas into viable enterprises that generate decent jobs and improve incomes of our people. Over and above this, Zimbabwe subscribed to the Africa Risk Capacity Sovereign Drought Insurance Policy. Following the drought that befell most of the SADC region, the fund made a payout which has augmented my administration's ongoing support for vulnerable households. Going forward, I challenge you to expand the scope of this event, turning it into a regional or an international gathering. This will allow us to tap into a broader pool of experts as we build resilience and promote economic transformation and address contemporary issues affecting the country, our region, and the world at large.
It emerged government is ready to receive policy recommendations from the Indaba on possible pathways towards transforming the economy. Sifiso Spanda, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Meanwhile, delegates to the Zimbabwe Economic Development Conference have noted the need to speed up the implementation of various agricultural growth interventions, including expansion of irrigation infrastructure and cultivation of traditional grains.
Globally, about 5% of the gross domestic product is being eroded by climate change, and Zimbabwe is not spared, especially this year when the country is grappling with El Nino-induced food shortages. However, the government is also rising to the occasion by putting various interventions such as construction of dams, expansion of irrigable land, and the establishment of a climate adaptation fund. The 2024 edition of the Zimbabwe Economic Development Conference, ZEDCON, in Victoria Falls this Monday saw economic players commending government efforts to fight climate change and proffering more solutions to the challenge.
We are grateful to His Excellency for supporting the initiative for the establishment of an adaptation fund. This is a fund under which Zimbabwe, together with international partners, including the climate finance facilities at the world scale, can contribute to establishing a resource basket so that next time when we are hit by a drought, we have a place to start off in terms of food security.
We also look at investment in shifting our cereal choices. For example, maize is a very dominant. We need 1.5 million tons of maize, but we are starting to hear conversations about small grains. This is another investment area. How small grains are grown, value chain development of small grains.
Government acknowledged that climate change is a threat to Vision 2030 and called for the involvement of all stakeholders to grow the economy.
We need the participation of all stakeholders, both locally and foreign, to deliberate on strategies that will propel the economy forward within the short, medium to long term.
Climate change is one of the major threats, as I say, to achieving our Vision 2030 of an upper income economy by year 2030. On average, it is estimated that the climate change is eroding about 5% of GDP on the entire African continent.
Outcomes for ZEDCON 2024 will also be incorporated in the crafting of the 2025 national budget and the formulation of other policies to propel the country to an upper middle income society by 2030. Tichao Nakurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Elsewhere, the Mbudzi Traffic Interchange project is nearing completion, with the Glenora Loop from Boka having been opened to traffic this Monday.
The section termed the Masvingo Glenora Loop stretches 3 kilometers from Boka to St. Peter's, with the route connecting to as far as Kwadzana Sebab. The resident engineer, Emmanuel Dube, gave the scope of works on the overall traffic interchange project.
We have 15 bridges, 13 of them are on the interchange itself. And of the 13, 11 of them have reached the deck. There's 2 bridges, 2 of those are the 2 bridges which are still to where we still have to put the deck, but the beams are already on site. So it's just doing the earthworks and then raising launching the beams is a quick process. To make 15 on Amalinda and on the Harare Drive link. These are subsidiary to the works that are happening here, but they complement the work here.
Transport and Infrastructural Development Minister Honorable Felix Mona disclosed the Second Republic is expediting construction with expectations to complete compensation processes by the end of this month.
We're not talking of a roundabout. We are talking of an interchange, the spaghetti roads that you were hearing. And by opening this section, you can actually be a testimony that it's no longer business as usual. And I'm happy that it's going to decongest the detour that we're using. And those that are northbound will also be in a position to enjoy this particular stretch of the road. We had property owners within this particular interchange. But because of the listening government, we have to compensate adequately the homeowners and those who are having their stands on this particular. And I can brag that once again through the Second Republic, at the end of this month, there is no one who is going to claim that my property was taken because of this interchange. Would have paid fully those property owners of this particular section.
The project has come as relief to contractors and residents alike.
This is a joint venture that has been put forward by the Ministry of Transport to local contractors. So meaning to say the contractors come together to form what we call a capacitated approach in terms of delivery of the road. And what it means is to say Zimbabweans can actually work together in terms of construction business. As local contractors, we are saying you can now see that we are competitive.
Kubva ku South Africa kusvika muno muchifura kuenda kune dzimwe nyika kuna DRC uko Zimbabwe yanakirwa zvakanaka nesuwo futi kutoterawo vagari vemuno muarea inoyi tisina mapotholes.
Zimbabwe very soon inenge ya first world country tichiti pamberi nevision 2030.
The Mbudzi traffic interchange is one of the flagship projects under the Second Republic, and it is meant to ease traffic congestion and prove the prowess and effectiveness of local workmanship. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
Madagascar President Andry Rajoelina says he cherishes the renewed diplomatic ties initiated by President Emmerson Mnangagwa.
A week-long benchmarking tour by the Zimbabwean government delegation to the island nation of Madagascar came to an end this Monday morning when Geopomona Executive Director Dr. Dilish Nguwaya met Madagascar President His Excellency Andry Rajoelina. In these remarks, Comrade Rajoelina said that Zimbabwe and Madagascar can open new avenues of cooperation, both on the economic and political front.
Cela marque la volonté de renforcer la coopération entre le Zimbabwe et Madagascar.
I'd like to thank the President of Zimbabwe. This marks the willingness to reinforce and enhance the cooperation between Zimbabwe and Madagascar. I believe this is going to enhance the friendship between our two countries. So our objective is to transform Antananarivo, the capital of Madagascar, into the same thing, because here we have 3 million of people and it is very dense here and there are many wastes, and we want to be a model in a few years. We take a model from Zimbabwe for this summit.
In an interview with ZBC News, Dr. Nguwaya noted how the tour confirms the private sector's role in accelerating government's engagement and re-engagement drive.
As business people, it is our duty to open the engagement, the re-engagement between Zimbabwe and Madagascar. These are very big opportunities which have been given by the heads of state, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, after the SADC 44th Heads of State Summit, when he invited his colleague, Mr. Andry Rajoelina, to come to Geopomona to see what we are doing. As Geopomona Waste Management, when we came here, we visited different places, different ministries of government including the dump site, which similar like Geopomona, which we want to transform like what we did to Geopomona. We are ready to replicate the same project to the region. As I highlighted before, we are going also to travel to Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, to go and showcase what we are doing.
His Excellency Andry Rajoelina said he's going to send a delegation to Zimbabwe in order to also start the Geopomona Waste to Energy project in Harare so that they can replicate it in Antananarivo. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Antananarivo.
Now, youths have paid tribute to President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his administration for empowering them through ensuring they have access to shelter.
The launch of the Mutapa Housing scheme in Victoria Range Extension suburb of Masvingo this Sunday by President Emmerson Mnangagwa has brought joy and hope among youths who said Vision 2030 is on course to be achieved, as many of them who have access to decent accommodation.
President watikoshesa nokuti isusu sema-youth azveuti tiri ma-youth pazera, but we are also parents. Saka President vaona kuti it's a necessity for us to have shelter, and also this azvingobatsiri pakuti tinowana shelter, but it also helps by growth economy, because we are going to see that especially for Masvingo there's going to be a lot of business. Even Kuma youth, we are seeing kuti she create an opportunity employment, because dzimba dzichada kuvakwa.
Nasi President vauya kuno kuMasvingo kuti tizo celebrate navo zuva remunhu Mutapa. Tinoda kuramba tichingotenda empowerment yavanotipa savana vechidiki vokuMasvingo. Vakambotipa ma-fishing permits, vakatipa ma-farms, maplots okuti tirimeko. Tinotenda zvakare vativigira dzimba kuti ma-youth akwanise kuwana pekugara.
Taingoziva zviri zvevakuru, but sema-youth tapuwa a platform to operate. And the second thing is this: the president coming to Masvingo, especially at Great Zimbabwe Monuments, emphasizing on this Mutapa issue. Chunu, it is a certain thing that restores our dignity and our heritage.
Government continues to implement the recently adopted human settlement policy, which emphasizes on fully servicing stands before occupation, hence curbing illegal settlements.
Chaita coincidence tavataitira kuno kuMasvingo implementation, Your Excellency, ye policy yenyu on human settlements yamakalauncha mugore ra2019 kuti pese pachavakwa tinotanga taisa migwagwa, tinotanga taisa mvura, tinotanga taisa mapombe etsvina, tinotanga taisa magetsi. Izvozvo ndo zvinoita kuti vanhu vozoya vachivaka properly planned and governed settlements, Your Excellency.
Shelter is a basic human right as pronounced in the Constitution of Zimbabwe and an instrument of development. Through this initiative, our ZANU-PF-led government, which you are providing with astute leadership, has demonstrated its delivering capacity. Our young people have a safe and secure place to call home.
The Mutapa Housing scheme will be rolled out across the country's 10 provinces and targets to benefit more than 20,000 youths. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
The stage is set for the second edition of the Presidential Innovation Fair, set for the Harare International Conference Center starting tomorrow. Our reporter Wellington Mapkonese speaks to the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education, Science and Technology Development Permanent Secretary, Professor Fano Tagwira, on the scope of the event.
Professor Tagwira, in less than 24 hours, the Presidential Innovation Fair kicks off. If you can enlighten us on the idea behind such an initiative.
The idea of the Presidential Innovation Fair is an idea who instructed the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development that he wanted our universities, because we are now going through a phase where our universities are producing innovations and prototypes. So what is going to happen is that the innovation fair is going to see our institutions of higher learning and tertiary institutions and also other people showcasing the innovations that they have produced.
And what policy initiatives are in place to ensure that the institutions of higher learning and industry have synergies in terms of innovations that are taking place?
It's very important to understand that Zimbabwe is building an innovation ecosystem where universities are working with industry and working with government, the tripartite, to make sure that the innovations that come from the industry, from the innovation hubs, end up being useful to industry. And so when they come out of the innovation hubs, with the support of industry, we are working together to make sure that there is commercialization of those innovations.
And in less than 24 hours, the event kicks off. What is the state of preparedness?
We are very prepared. We have been working on making sure that this will be a very wonderful event since the beginning of the year. And so we are ready, and I encourage as many people as are interested to see what our young people are doing in the universities, in primary school, in high school, and what industry is doing. Come and see the innovations that will be on display.
Now, a funeral parade has been held for Air Commodore retired Peter Zimondi, who died on Friday last week.
A sense of profound and grief hung in the air as relatives and colleagues gathered at Manyame Air Force Base this Monday to bid farewell to the late Air Commodore retired Peter Zimondi.
I learned a lot of work materials from him. I learned how to run matters within the administration department in the Air Force.
The late Air Commodore retired Zimondi was also a family unifier.
Munhu anga achitibatsira semusha akwanisa kubatidza misha yedu yese iri 4 awaitomboziva kuti uyo ndiwo kwani uyu ndiwo kwani, asi kuti iye gapa chake waiona pese panenge paitika chinhu chemusha iyoyo iri misha yese ainga asvika.
Giving his eulogy on behalf of the Zimbabwe Defence Forces Chief Mourner and Commander Air Force of Zimbabwe Air Marshal John Jacob Nzwede described the late as a dedicated officer.
As some of you may have noted, his promotion records are impressive, and this is because of his outstanding capabilities. As many who worked with him will attest, he was a dedicated and highly competent officer. As a result, he was appointed to lead in some critical areas where his work ethic and commitment to excellence left a mark that can never be erased in the history of the Air Force of Zimbabwe.
Air Commodore retired Zimondi gave 37 years of his life to the Air Force of Zimbabwe, starting his military career in 1981 after training in Nigeria. He journeyed through a long military career until his retirement in 2018 when he was promoted to the rank of Air Commodore. During his illustrious military career, Air Commodore retired Zimondi held various positions including Base Commander at Manyame Air Force Base, Director of Administration at Air Force Headquarters, and Director of Inspectorate at AHQ. He also received several medals for serving Zimbabwe with dedication and loyalty. He died on the 13th of this month at the age of 65 from injuries sustained in road traffic accident near Zororo Memorial Park in Chitungwisa 2 months ago. Burial arrangements will be announced in due course. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Prosecutor General Justice Lois Matanda Moyo says no individual will be permitted to evade justice by feigning mental instability.
The ongoing Midlands Province High Court circuit has brought to the fore the need to tighten the justice delivery system amid claims some suspects are trying to evade justice by feigning mental instability. According to Prosecutor General Justice Lois Matandamoyo, a case in point is that of Peter Dube of Gweru, who is facing allegations of double murder and 2 attempted murder charges. Dube is accused of feigning mental illness by stripping off his clothes during his brief trial last week. Justice Matandamoyo also revealed that the set target of clearing 150 murder cases within 3 weeks will be surpassed, considering that 50 cases have been dealt with in a week.
Unfortunately, on the date of trial, Peter Dube exhibited signs of mental illness. On examinations the first time, he was said to be mentally unstable. We then requested a second opinion, and then a second opinion from the Bulawayo psychiatrist proved that he was feigning illness. So Peter Dube will be going into court on the 23rd of September after we got that second opinion that Peter Dube is mentally stable to stand trial.
Meanwhile, the trial of Saningdale legislator Maureen Kademaunga of the Citizens Coalition for Change, who is facing charges of attempted murder, continued at the Harare Magistrates Court. Kademaunga is being jointly charged with the CCCC councillors Clyde Mashojera, No Munwei and Daubu Jezub for attempted murder and malicious damage to property. In state-led evidence, Dr. Tobeth Mdada disclosed that he was on duty at Salim Gabe Hospital on the 22nd of August last year and attended to Cyril Nyauchi, Atuo Marwa and Spencer Mdarikwa. Dr. Mdada confirmed that the complainants had severe and life-threatening injuries from the sharp and blunt objects allegations the suspects denied. The suspects allegedly severely assaulted the complainants and burned Nyauchi's vehicle in August last year, blocking him from distributing food to polling agents who were deployed in Saningdale constituency. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, the Pan-African Parliament PAP committee session started in Midrand, South Africa today with the Mpox virus, climate change, Agenda 2063, as well as peace and security on the continent, taking center stage.
Setting the tone for a busy week for Pan-African Parliament committees, PAP President Chief Fortune Charumira outlined the work that lies ahead for legislators. Official opening the session in Midrand, South Africa this Monday, Chief Charumira said the committees must interrogate issues affecting the continent, including Mpox, climate change, and craft solutions for African problems.
Committees will be meeting this week. Whether you are in health, whether you are in transport, whether you are in gender, they will interrogate issues and also refer to the theme. How should education propel us to better transport on the continent, to better health on the continent, to better everything on the continent? And we are happy that during this week of committee sittings, we are going to have a number of presentations on major topics and issues on this continent.
Turning to funding of the institution, the PAP president noted a decline in the financing of the Continental Parliament, thereby negatively affecting the attainment of set targets.
We have zero budget for committees to undertake their work. Nothing. Even the bureau budget does not allow us to function. We should just sit at home. That is the truth. And this message is well known. For this committee to meet this time round, you all know, we were short. We needed 800,000. We had 250,000, 265, which was allocated by the union. So we started off this workshop this session in debt.
Representing the government of South Africa, Minister for Water and Sanitation, Honorable Pemi Majodina, assured legislators a government will continue supporting the PAP.
I want to reassure you, honorable members, that South Africa is seized with this matter, and we are going to ensure that we continue to give our support at all fronts to ensure that this Pan-African Parliament does not fail. This Pan-African Parliament cannot fail in our name as South Africa.
The committee sitting is being held under the African theme for 2024, Educate an African Fit for the 21st Century, building resilient education systems for increased access to inclusive, lifelong, quality and relevant learning in Africa. This session will include the 12th Annual Conference of Speakers of African National and Regional Parliaments, which convenes this Wednesday. Meanwhile, 20 new legislators were sworn in at the official opening of the PAP committee's session. Bruce Chawanda, SBC News, Midrand.
You're watching the main news. Remember to visit our website for these and more stories in greater detail. Our website is www.zbcnews.co.zw.
We're also there on social media platforms, on your Facebook, your YouTube, everywhere else. You can just go and type in ZBC News Online. You should be able to get the latest on what is taking place right now. And of course, for those joining us on Facebook Live, we also welcome you to the channel.
Still to come in this bulletin.
Just in case you missed it, we'll give you the latest on what happened at the Mutapa Gala held at Nemangwa grounds in Masvingo.
And in sport, Minister Kirsty Coventry is among the 7 candidates contesting for International Olympic Committee presidency. Do stay with us for these and more stories after this break.
The ZANU-PF Secretary General, Comrade Dr. Obert Moses Mpofu, on behalf of the Politburo, Council of Elders, Central Committee, ZANU-PF staff members, and the entire party membership, wishes to express deep delight in His Excellency, the President and First Secretary of the Revolutionary Party and Chairman of the SADC Bloc, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, on the occasion of your birthday. We celebrate your enduring commitment to Zimbabwe's freedom and progress. As we celebrate this significant milestone in your life, we applaud your visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to uplifting the lives of every citizen to achieve an upper middle income economy by 2030. Your exemplary leadership and selfless dedication have been a beacon of inspiration, driving socio-economic development in Zimbabwe. Your steadfast and visionary stewardship has not only driven exceptional investment and progress in Zimbabwe, but has also played a crucial role in the nation's growth and prosperity. For those of us privileged to serve under your guidance, this has been a profound source of pride. We are deeply grateful for your unwavering dedication and tireless efforts as head of state and government and commander-in-chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. On this momentous occasion, we say, Happy birthday, Shumba Mrambwe. May you be blessed with many more years filled with good health, happiness, and strength. May the Lord Almighty protect you as you continue to lead the nation to even greater heights. Siti Amhlope, Makorokoto, congratulations. Pamberi ne ZANU-PF, Pambili ne ZANU-PF, forward with ZANU-PF.
The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Matabele North, Honorable Richard Moyo, Secretary Ms. Sitandiwe Dumongube, Directors, Heads of Departments and Staff all wish His Excellency, the President, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, a happy 82nd birthday. This milestone achievement comes at a time when the nation is preoccupied with National Development Agenda anchored on Vision 2030. As we wish Zimbabwe's Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces more years of grace and wisdom, the province takes cognizant of national priority projects such as the Gwai Shangani Dam, Wange Unit 7 and 8 expansion, Ziminya Dam, Bubi Lupane, among many others, which have empowered communities. His Excellency the President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, continues to thrive and input socio-economic development locally, regionally, and internationally after ascending to the Southern African Development Community SADC chairmanship. We say long live President Mnangagwa, long live Vision 2030. God bless Zimbabwe. Together, we will thrive and shine.
Zimbabwe's mining legacy is a story etched deep in our soil. It's a tale of hard work, resilience, and human ingenuity in unearthing riches and building a nation. This commitment to progress continues as mining industry players continue to unlock the vast potential of our mineral reserves, driving economic transformation through innovation, mineral beneficiation, and value addition. Are you ready to be part of the next chapter? Explore cutting-edge advancements and discover endless opportunities in Zimbabwe's expanding mining value chains at the 27th edition of Mine Entra, taking place from the 9th to the 11th of October 2024 at the Zimbabwe International Exhibition Center in Bulawayo. Register via our website www.zitf.co.zw. Mine Entra 2024, unearthing success, the mining value chains, innovation and industrialization nexus.
The board, management and staff of the National Social Security Authority, NASA, congratulate His Excellency, President Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa on the occasion of his 82nd birthday. May this day be a celebration of your continued commitment to exemplary leadership and the promise to continuously improve the well-being of every Zimbabwean as we build our own country brick by brick. NASA will continue to contribute to Vision 2030 by investing in impactful national projects as we journey towards our vision to become a world-class provider of social security to all Zimbabweans. Congratulations, Makoro Koto Amsope.
The board, management and staff of the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, POTRAZ, extend warmest wishes to His Excellency, President E.D. Mnangagwa, on his 82nd birthday. We commend your ongoing efforts in transforming the nation's digital landscape, ensuring that everyone, regardless of their location, has access to and can utilize ICT resources. May your leadership continue to inspire progress and inclusivity in Zimbabwe's technological advancement.
Welcome back. You are still watching the main news. Now, the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jennifer Muswere, has clarified the helicopter accident that occurred on Sunday in Masvingo. In a statement, Dr. Muswere said the helicopter accident occurred after a successful groundbreaking ceremony and the Mutapa Day celebrations attended by His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa. The President was accompanied by the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, Vice President, Comrade Kembo Mohadi, ZANU-PF Chairperson and Minister of Defense, Comrade Opam Chinguri Kashiri, as well as other senior government and party officials. Minister Muswere said the helicopter, which was supposed to fly President Mnangagwa, crash-landed after experiencing a technical fault, but the President was not on board. The Minister said the helicopter had crew members on board, but there were no fatalities. He added that the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe, CAS, is carrying out investigations and a statement will be issued at the appropriate time. Elsewhere, armed robbers are on the prowl along the country's highways where they are targeting stranded motorists, with the public being implored to be on high alert.
The Harare-Mutare Highway has witnessed an increase in such incidents as the Zimbabwe Republic Police confirmed the arrest of 3 suspects in connection with a robbery which occurred last week. Circumstances are that a haulage truck driver picked up the duo in Masasa after they pretended to be genuine travelers on their way to Mutare. The suspects requested to be dropped off on approaching Rusape, but when the driver pulled over, two more suspected robbers emerged from the roadside bushes and teamed up with their accomplices in attacking the truck driver, who sustained serious injuries. In a related incident, a cross-border bus was attacked in Beitbridge last month by suspects who pretended to be passengers going to the Beitbridge border post. They ordered the bus to stop and pounce on passengers before getting away with substantial amounts of United States dollars and rands. The suspects have since been arrested. Zimbabwe Republic Police National Spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati encouraged transporters and motorists to exercise caution when traveling along the country's highways.
As the police, we have always said, drivers should stick to the mandate given by their employers. Drivers should not carry passengers when they have been given a specific task to do by their companies. So we want the companies, we want the drivers to also contribute towards their safety on the country's roads. And we have also said for bus operators, no one should board a cross-border bus without having been noted down, without having his name or a name put on the manifest, and a duplicate should remain behind at the company head office or at the company offices, so that when the police conduct investigations, this will come on hand. And we are also saying, for cross-border bus operators, they should not just allow their bus to stop at each and every place. There are designated points where the buses can stop, where the crews can have a rest. And in the process, if something happens, the police can easily track.
The armed robbers also target stranded motorists and isolated drivers along the highways. Festus Mkongurutse, ZBC News, Harare.
We're now crossing over to our Montrose studios in Bulawayo, where we join Dora Ncube to give us more news. It's a very good evening to you, Dora. It's over to you.
Thank you so much, Joyce and Patlike. Good evening to you and a lovely evening to our viewers. We continue with our next report. In a significant move to foster economic cooperation and strengthen trade ties, Durban Director leading Business Development Agency has initiated a business-to-business engagement with the Bulawayo business community.
An engagement held in Bulawayo this Monday seeks to create synergies between the two cities and drive growth in various sectors as Zimbabwe continues to deepen its economic integration within the SADC region. The Durban Direct meeting comes at a crucial time as the African Continental Free Trade Area continues to gain momentum, offering unprecedented opportunities for inter-African trade. The Bulawayo business community expressed enthusiasm about the initiative, highlighting its potential benefits across multiple sectors.
These engagements are quite critical for the city of Bulawayo and bring business to Bulawayo, and we are hoping that the guys from KZN can also benefit from that as well.
We look at this interaction as one of the major benefits for this region, and of course we look forward to more collaboration between Bulawayo operators as tourism operators. As you know, tourism by its nature facilitates trade and investment.
Durban Direct representatives underscored the agency's commitment to connecting businesses and fostering economic development.
The main aim is for those businesses to then establish trading relationships between their counterparts here in Zimbabwe. And one of the key areas that we decided we want to go to was Bulawayo as a strategic location for us in KwaZulu-Natal in terms of trade. And we're also going to be in Harare doing the same thing there as well.
Bulawayo Mayor Councillor David Coated emphasized the city's commitment to strengthening economic ties with other African cities.
I see a huge mutual benefit for both cities if we can establish closer links, if we can make sure that the twinning arrangement between Bulawayo and Durban isn't just an academic document, but a vibrant, practical document.
The role of airlines in facilitating economic ties between cities cannot be overstated.
Air connectivity is the catalyst to economic development. That is aviation for you. So from a FastJet standpoint, it's imperative for us to ensure that we cultivate the ground to create business need, business synergies, which will result in air connectivity, which will open up the markets and provide people with access to new markets.
Economic experts contend fostering business synergies and promoting cross-border trade is essential in driving economic growth and development in the region. Helandamoy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Government and its development partners are capacitating small to medium enterprises to boost the country's gross domestic product.
Government and business development service providers concluded a 5-day training course for SMEs in Bulawayo at the weekend, where sustainable business management was high on the agenda.
The business plan that they are helping us to have as business owners is going to be a guide to our businesses.
In terms of how am I going to structure goals with my business.
The training which we are giving the enterprises is literally to say where do they want to go insofar as the business plan is concerned. What do they need to do so that the business grows.
The International Labour Organization is convinced partnering government is critical to transforming and improving viability of the business sector.
The whole drive that we are here to is in partnership with the government of Zimbabwe through Ministry of Women Affairs and also supported by African Development Bank. And the reason why we are training SMEs is to improve their business management skills.
Government is keen to empower SMEs through various initiatives.
To the young people and the women who have been selected, I want to say to them, here is an opportunity, make use of it. We want to see you being referred to as a businessman, as a businesswoman in the near future.
The SME's capacity building initiative touched on 4 areas, including to generate your business, start your business, improve your business, and expand your business packages.
Heads of public entities in Matabeleland North have received critical awareness on how to process information under the Freedom of Information Act. Let's hear more.
Under the Zimbabwe Media Commission ZMC exercise, which is being conducted across the country, heads of government departments have received critical insight on public information dissemination. Matabeleland North was the focal point at the weekend as the awareness campaign gathers momentum.
I-platform le ilusizo kakhulu kithi ngoba thina sisebenza i-public njalo sizamnanzelela ukuthi khona Freedom of Information Act, it's actually constitutional, and the TINA, njenge-public, umsebenzi wethu as a CEO is to implement government policies and government laws.
Siyafunda kakhulu ukuthi silomlando njengama-public organizations ukuthi abantu sibanike information abangabe beyicela.
ZMC is convinced heads of government departments have a critical role to play as custodians of public information.
We are conscientizing public entities, public commercial entities and statutory offices on the need to disclose and give people information, that is access to information in terms of Section 62 of the Constitution. So our drive is, as public entities, as commercial entities, you have a responsibility, one, to disclose information and to make sure that the public has information, especially when they request in terms of Section 7 of the Freedom of Information Act.
The participants include representatives of local authorities, central government and other autonomous departments. Mhlomule Ncube, ZBC News, Wange.
Parents and guardians have been implored to prioritize their children's health by seeking medical attention early to improve survival chances.
A media workshop organized by Kids Can Zimbabwe in Harare this Monday highlighted the critical role of the media in raising awareness and combating childhood cancer in the country. Participants heard stories from survivors and healthcare professionals emphasizing the importance of early detection and treatment. The other day, excessive, but that day. Potatoes or refer up my specialist, but I know my specialist. Mana when you myself I can now miramush. Saka arfana vitu emergency op. Because right pane cyst ilipa kidney pake right kidney. Baba twenda ku theater. Sikava ngonditi mushidimo ndo kwanza ngokuza ikuti pataenda naye ku theater tazotora long because tazoita mamwe ma specialist tazoona kuti hazvisi kuita kuti tingo remove the cyst tazobvisa they would keep me rachorese. And then pakuhila after operation, nambotora time.
My advice to parents, when a child complains of pain on any part of the body, take time to examine that area and listen to the type of complaint that they have. Why am I saying this? It's important for people to know that cancer can present in many symptoms or signs. Let's improve health-seeking behavior for our children. When they complain, look at the pattern of complaint, look at the length of the complaint. If you do some remedies at home, have they taken the problem away or not? If not, then please look for professional help.
Deputy Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Ompile Marupi, who was the guest of honor, challenged the media to play a pivotal role in combating childhood cancer.
This is an ambitious goal, but it is achievable. However, to realize this dream, every sector of society must play its part, and none is more vital than the media, for we are the fourth estate. The media has the power to influence opinions, shape narratives, and bring critical issues to the forefront of national consciousness. Today, I challenge you as members of the press to take up the mantle of responsibility in the fight against childhood cancer.
With September being Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, the media workshop served as a powerful platform to raise awareness on childhood cancer, encouraging early detection and treatment. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
And all that's it from myself, Dora Ncube, and the Montrose News team. We now take you back to Joyce and Butler for more news.
Well, many thanks there to Dora Ncube and our crew from Montrose Studios for giving us that stretch of the bulletin. We continue. Virtual reality booths are taking the entertainment scene by storm, sweeping away the young and the old in a wave of intrigue and adrenaline rush. Our next report.
The shrill voice fills the room. She is definitely in a world of her own. Everything around her appears so real, and the only way out is to scream. Welcome to the world of virtual reality, a universe filled with entertainment which sometimes can turn into a phantom. Or is it a nightmare on Elm Street, according to 61-year-old Gogo Primrose Makoni?
ndaguma ndakunge ndiri mumochari mune zvipoko zvakumuka maiweka ndazotya but it was a wonderful experience but zvinotyisa.
Could it be age? Youngsters are also getting the thrills and spills of VR games.
Virtual reality is actually really, really fun. And the experience, the 360, it's not something to try. It was really realistic. You wouldn't think you are in a virtual reality machine or anything like that. It utilizes the sense of sight and touch.
It's a way to relax. Like in a virtual world, it's a stress reliever. You can shoot things, you can go on a space trip, you can do a lot of things in a virtual world.
What I liked about it felt so real. It's different than the games which I play on my phone.
As if to confirm that VR is for the youth, Mrs. Zeria Tangamwe, a manager at Royal Finesse, says most of their clients are young people.
There's some people who are receiving it quite well, especially we find the younger generation, like the so-called AMA2K. They receive it quite well because they can relate to technology way better than the older generations. So you find that those find it more exciting, more thrilling, and they are ready to embrace it and want to do a lot with it.
VR allows gamers to escape reality for a little while, but one should choose wisely, as some are not for the faint-hearted. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
There goes my weekend plan. Okay. Efficient regulation, monitoring and management of the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe has been cited as a key enabler for the maintenance of high standards in the aviation sector.
The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Transport and Infrastructural Development was on a familiarization tour of the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport this Monday. High on the agenda was the issue of compliance with international best practice.
You will appreciate that the entity itself is a highly regulated area. And as a result, we have our mother body, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization, which is the one which gives us the regulations on how to run an efficient aviation industry. So therefore, we are subject to audits. So that is the way how they check the issue of compliance.
We visited the second surveillance radar, so the portfolio committee was quite interested in how it operates and in terms of coverage within the country. We also visited the communication equipment and also explaining how it operates, how it makes sure that Zimbabwe is well connected. And now we are in the area, in the control center where the airspace within the country is controlled to ensure safety of operations.
Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Transport and Infrastructural Development Chairperson Honorable Knowledge Kaitano is satisfied with the improvement and modernization of the country's aviation operating system.
What we have realized on this visit is the improvement of the kind of machinery and equipment that is here, the modernization thereof. We have seen that CARS has improved the equipment. That also ensures that safety and security of our skies in Zimbabwe is enhanced. So we are happy that in that respect, CARS has done a good job to improve and modernize and digitize most of the operations here.
Findings from the Portfolio Committee will be tabled in Parliament as part of efforts to improve the safety and security of aviation systems in the country. Farai Gwaze, ZBC News, Harare.
Beyond our country's borders, South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa says the Government of National Unity GNU will not collapse despite differences in political and ideological perspectives.
In his weekly newsletter released Monday morning, President Ramaphosa said he is convinced that the GNU will survive any difference in view or opinion that the partners may have. This comes after he signed into law the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill, which is being opposed by the DA. The move has resulted in implementation delays of clauses 4 and 5 to allow negotiations with parties in the GNU. President Ramaphosa says he has no reservations about the Bella bill, adding that he will give the parties time to discuss issues of school admissions and languages proposals on the relevant clauses.
An apparent second attempt on Donald Trump's life has led to questions about the safety of U.S. presidential candidates. This comes at a time when U.S. lawmakers have been calling for additional security measures following Sunday's incident. Reports say Trump was playing a round of golf at his club in West Palm Beach when a member of his security team spotted a rifle barrel sticking out of the fence. An individual identified as Ryan Wesley Ruth, aged 58, was taken into custody after he was intercepted 45 minutes away from the golf course. The FBI recovered an AK-47 style firearm and scope, 2 backpacks and a GoPro camera from the bush the suspected gunman was hiding in. The suspected gunman remains in custody and no official charges have been filed yet.
The Palestinian death toll from the ongoing Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip has risen to over 41,000. In a statement, Gaza-based health authorities said during the past 24 hours, the Israeli military has killed 24 Palestinians and wounded 137 others. Meanwhile, Gaza-based media office said in a statement that the number of displaced people in the enclave has risen from 1.9 million to 2 million.
A look at what is taking place across the world in our regional and international news takes us to a break. When we come back, we'll look at your arts and entertainment. Lawrence Trusida will also bring us our look at sport. Stay with us.
The Chairman, Board, Management and staff of the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe extend hearty congratulations to His Excellency, President Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, the family and the nation